So if someone were to ask me what are my top 3 compounds to boost muscle growth without causing any degree of suppression in testosterone levels or affecting any other major hormones in the body, this is exactly what I'd recommend. So for those of you who are brand new to my channel, my name is Lucas, the founder of Boost Your Biology. And if you've been enjoying these videos, please hit that subscribe button down below to stay up to date with the latest and greatest health research. So my top 3 favorite muscle building compounds. Now, before I get into this video, I do want to emphasize that this is not in any particular order. And these 3 compounds I do believe have some favorable effects in terms of increasing lean body mass. So compound number 1 is terkesterone megadose. Compound number 2 is creatine monohydrate's stronger brother, which some of you have heard me talk about this new form of creatine. And number 3, we have phosphatidic acid megadose. So these 3 compounds are my most potent compounds to increase muscle growth. So first of all, let's start out with terkesterone. Now, many of you have probably heard about terkesterone from Derek from More Plates, More Dates. And bear in mind, if you do want to purchase some of these compounds that I'm mentioning throughout this video, you will see them all linked down below in the video description if you do want to purchase some of these compounds that I'm discussing. Now, first of all, here we have terkesterone. Now, terkesterone is an ecdysteroid. Now, ecdysteroids are basically steroid hormones that are commonly found in arthropods and insects, but they can also be found in certain plant species. Now, terkesterone is primarily derived from the ajuca plant, but can also be extracted from various other plant species most commonly found on the African continent. Now, the word ecdysteroid is a combination of the words ecdy and steroid. Now, ecdy comes from the word ecdysis, the process of molting in insects, and steroid to denote that the compound has a sterone backbone as part of its chemical composition. Now, interestingly, approximately 6% of plants contain ecdysteroids, though not at levels sufficient to lead to a noticeable effect. Now, bear in mind, some of these plant compounds or plants that actually contain high levels of ecdysteroids include spinach, quinoa, white button mushrooms, yams, and Ajuca turkestanica. Traditional herbalists would use Ajuca as an overall tonic and liver protective herb. And as far as the mechanism of action and the way in which terkesterone works to increase lean body mass and support muscle recovery, now some of the actions of ecdysteroids may include via stimulation of the estrogen receptor beta, which is believed to affect muscle protein signaling and also muscle development. In addition, ecdysteroids may also increase IGF-1 signaling. It activates the AKT pathway. It enhances muscle protein synthesis. It can also decrease myostatin, improves blood flow, and it can also act as an adaptogen via modulating the stress response. And also some research has identified that these ecdysteroids may assist with bone and joint health. Now, if we were to take a look at terkesterone versus steroids, we can see that terkesterone actually acts on different pathways to anabolic androgenic steroids. Now, whilst steroids target the androgen receptors, terkesterone actually targets the estrogen receptor beta. Now, bear in mind, one of the advantages of using terkesterone is that it will not cause any degree of suppression of your natural testosterone. And this is really critical when we're looking at some of these compounds, is that we really want to be utilizing compounds that do not lower our natural production of testosterone. And that is what terkesterone is able to achieve, is that it can support muscle growth without affecting testosterone production. Now, additionally, there is no risk of terkesterone aromatizing into estrogen, negatively impacting prostate and testicle weight, causing liver and kidney issues or many other issues commonly seen with steroid abuse. So we don't need to worry about terkesterone aromatizing into estrogen. There's no need to control estrogen when using testosterone. Now, when compared with other ecdysteroids, testosterone outperforms them with regards to its ability to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, resulting in the most weight gain and muscle gain. The same study also compared the ecdysteroids to some anabolic androgenic steroids such as methandrostenolone and found that testosterone outperformed them in 2 out of the 3 groups, and the only group where testosterone didn't outperform the steroids was the group without testicles due to them having no endogenous testosterone production. Now, cell studies have also shown testosterone to decrease myostatin more effectively than dianabol. Now, another study looked at ecdysterone compared to the steroids dianabol, trenbolix, and the selective androgen receptor modulator S1 regarding muscle gain. Now, ecdysterone was found to be the most efficacious at building muscle, and adding to this information above that testosterone outperforms ecdysteroids with regards to muscle gain, it appears that this is the powerhouse of a compound. So as far as dosages are concerned, we're looking at around 1,000 milligrams pre-workout of testosterone and 1,000 milligrams of testosterone post-workout. Now, this is far above what you see with regular testosterone products. However, we really need to be doing a very high dosage of testosterone to elicit a favorable effect on muscle growth. So, as we just discussed testosterone, compound number 2 that I alluded to previously was creatine monohydrate's stronger brother, which is creatine. Now, some of you may have already heard me talk about the benefits of creatine before, and some key facts to know about this modified version of creatine monohydrate, which is called creatine. Some key things to note about this form of creatine is that it's 8.5 times more effective than creatine monohydrate. In addition to that, there is no water retention, there are no non-responders, it has 4 ways to enter the cell, and there is 3.9 times more creatine in the gray matter of the brain and 1.9 times more in the white matter of the brain when using this form of creatine over regular creatine monohydrate. Really important stuff to note here is that this creatine is a derivative of creatine monohydrate. Bear in mind here, what I'm referring to is it's creatine monohydrate plus guanidinoacetic acid, or GAA. Now, GAA is the precursor of creatine in the human body, and we can see here what makes creatine far superior to regular creatine monohydrate is that muscle creatine content change after 4 weeks was much more significant, a 16.9% increase versus a regular 2% increase, which is what we see with creatine monohydrate. We can see the changes in white matter creatine content after 4 weeks, the creatine significantly outperforming creatine monohydrate. So now you're probably wondering what makes creatine far superior to creatine monohydrate. Well, the thing is, creatine has 4 ways to enter the cell. Now, creatine not only uses the regular creatine receptors, it also utilizes 3 additional pathways to enter the cell, including the GABA and taurine receptors, and even via passive diffusion, which does not require any protein carrier. Now, once it enters the cell, GAA turns into creatine in a GAMT-controlled catalytic reaction and increases intracellular creatine levels. In addition, creatine ensures the desired boost as there are less non-responders in contrast to regular creatine. Now, as creatine receptors in the brain and muscles are close to being saturated with endogenous creatine under physiological conditions, the advantages of GAA to utilize additional transport systems creates an effective strategy to overcome limited exogenous creatine utilization and meet advanced energetical needs in an exhaustive workout. So as far as dosages are concerned with creatine, now bear in mind you will see this linked down below in the video description if you do want to purchase some of these compounds that I discuss. Many of you are oftentimes asking me about, where to source all of these compounds and supplements that I talk about, the highest quality vendors. Most of the time that will be linked down below in the video description, so be sure to regularly check that. Otherwise, you'll be able to see most of these products that I discuss also listed on my website. That's boostyourbiology.com. So the dosages for creatine is 2 sachets a day, 1 sachet twice a day with meals or with your pre-workout. Now, I personally prefer to take creatine pre and post workout as I feel like I get the better muscle recovery effect following taking creatine post workout. Now, bear in mind that with bulk packaging of regular creatine monohydrate, they actually tend to lose their potency by up to 50% over time, as creatine monohydrate actually soaks up water. Now, the single dose serving sachet of creatine makes it far superior, as there's no risk of your powder actually degrading and losing effectiveness over time. So this is a strategic way to store this particular powder to ensure long-term stability and effectiveness. So the next compound that I'm here to talk about is phosphatidic acid. Now, phosphatidic acid is a unique lipid molecule that acts as a direct regulator of mTOR signaling, or mammalian target of rapamycin. Now, in other words, PA or phosphatidic acid effectively turns on muscle protein synthesis in response to resistance exercise. Now, given the apparent role of phosphatidic acid in mTOR activation, researchers have started to question whether simply increasing the amount of phosphatidic acid in the diet would exert a favorable impact on muscle growth and strength. Now, it is noteworthy to mention that phosphatidic acid can be found naturally in the diet, but only in very small quantities. Now, phosphatidic acid is found in the largest quantities in vegetables such as cabbage, which contains 0.5 milligrams per gram of phosphatidic acid. So let's jump into the first study that really piqued my interest. In a 2-part study which basically recruited resistance-trained subjects, it was found that phosphatidic acid dosed at 750 milligrams daily significantly increased lean body mass, so plus 2.4 kilograms, and leg strength over placebo. So we can see that phosphatidic acid may increase lean body mass and also support strength gains. Now, it's not just leg press strength that has been shown to be positively affected. Another study, again utilizing 750 milligrams given to resistance-trained men, found the following results following an 8-week exercise program: a 12.7% increase in squat strength and a 2.6% increase in lean body mass, both higher than results in the placebo group. Now, here are some other notable human studies up to September 2021 that investigated the effects of phosphatidic acid on muscle growth. So this first study here was titled "Phosphatidic Acid Enhances mTOR Signaling and Resistance Exercise-Induced Hypertrophy." This next study here was titled "Effects of Oral Phosphatidic Acid Feeding with or Without Whey Protein on Muscle Protein Synthesis and Anabolic Signaling in Rodent Skeletal Muscle." This study here was titled "Effects of Phosphatic Acid Supplementation on Muscle Thickness and Strength in Resistance-Trained Men." This study here was titled "Efficacy of Phosphatic Acid Ingestion on Lean Body Mass, Muscle Thickness and Strength Gains in Resistance-Trained Men." And this study here was titled "Phosphatic Acid Ingestion Increases Muscle Cross-Sectional Area and Muscle Architecture in Resistance-Trained Men." So as far as dosages are concerned with phosphatidic acid, ideally what I believe to be the most powerful way to reap the benefits of phosphatidic acid is 750 milligrams of phosphatidic acid pre-workout and then 500 milligrams post-workout. So there has been no evidence to suggest that this particular supplement will have any negative effects, giving it a very favorable risk to reward ratio. So this makes it an excellent substitute for SARMs or prohormones, which do require additional steps to be taken to ensure that optimal health is maintained. And so basically what we can establish is that phosphatidic acid, creatine, and testosterone, all three exert a favorable safety profile. And you're probably wondering now whether or not you can actually stack all three of these natural muscle building supplements together. And the answer is yes. There is no risk of potential suppression, or, a reduction in testosterone or other hormones. And there doesn't appear to be any hypothetical risks or side effects associated with combining all three of these muscle building compounds together. So if you did enjoy this video, and if you do have some thoughts on some of these ingredients listed, please drop a comment down below. And as always, please do support this channel by liking the video and leaving a comment. Thanks so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.